Good day, everyone. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Haven't been live on a Wednesday, I think, in a little bit. So I'm glad to be here. And yeah, how y'all doing? How's everyone feeling out there? Hope that you are having you know, some chill time in the middle of this it's like a transition season right now, right? Like it's like summer, but it's like we're going into summer. So hopefully everyone's feeling fine. I am real excited. I've been trying to have this guest on for a little while, and just schedules have been crazy and things. She's busy. She's got a lot going on. So without further ado, let's bring on BlaKc Hexican.
Hi, SJ. So happy to be here with you.
Yay! Awesome. Glad to have you. Thanks again for agreeing to do this so early for you. Well,
Yeah,
relatively early.
West Coast, but a good morning show's good way to get the day started.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
That's where I like doing mine a little bit earlier in the day because it's for me anyways, it helps, like it's like good to get my day going, and then I'm just like, oh, I can kind of contemplate on that throughout the day how things went.
yeah, and I'm sure the Hexicans over in like Europe can appreciate that.
That's right.
You
That's where's
know,
the
it's
UK.
still it's still, evening for them. It's not the middle of the night like a lot of our evening streams. They're like, "Oh my gosh, why do you guys stream right at that time?"
True.
So,
Super true. Well, let's just get into it. I feel like I've heard your story. I think you've shared it a few times.
yeah.
But for anyone who hasn't heard it or anyone who doesn't know who you are, go ahead and share with us what brought you into Hex. How did you find Hex, or how did you find crypto if it wasn't Hex first? Or
Okay.
Richard Hart? Like, how did you get here?
Yeah. So originally, I was introduced to crypto through Bitcoin, and it was really not on my own behalf. Like I really had no idea what Bitcoin was. I think that the reason that crypto is like what 95% male is because men tend to, take risks more so than we do at a faster pace. And so I had my husband who was very interested in, YouTube and listening to. He's always thrive for knowledge, right? Through like tons of different channels. And I would hear him listening to the most random sources. Like there was Ivan on Tech. And if you know his voice, I don't know exactly where he's from, but he has a very, very thick accent. And he was listening to, him. And then there was this other guy. And I could never get into what they were talking about, but he was convinced that this was like the wave of the future as far as financial development. So he always kind of kept his ear open. And then when I got involved is when I started playing poker. Um,
Okay.
it was some years ago. I can't exactly remember. I want to say like when the World Series of Poker like first blew up on television. I live so close to Vegas that we used to go up there a lot. I played in a few events. And so it got to the point to where, I got pretty good and I wanted to use it as like passive income. So I started playing online and playing online was working out great. Everything seemed, all good until I think the U.S. government decided to crack down a bit, needed to have better regulations on it. And so, like, without any warning, it got cut off. Like, you could not transact in US dollar, right? And so, this was like one of those warning signs as far as like, oh, they can really, didn't matter how much money I had in this, what I thought was secure online, gaming system, it was just taken away immediately. Eventually, we got our money, but it was after like litigation and like a lot, went on. And from there, my husband, he was doing like a little bit of sports game betting or whatnot. And he was like, hey, there's this site where you can still play poker. You just have to transact in Bitcoin. And so I was like, oh, okay. Don't really know what Bitcoin is, but I do know that this site with our US dollar has just shut me off with no warning. And then he starts telling me about how, like, Bitcoin, it's yours. They can't just shut it off. Like they can't just take it from you. It's like decentralized and all this kind of stuff. And, it just started, little pieces started connecting to where I got more and more interested in it. And then he went deep down the rabbit hole. I mean, like there was like this term, I want to say it was like DeFi summer or altcoin summer, something like that,
Mhm.
where I want to say he might have had like over 200 different tokens, right?
Wow.
So I was not about to learn about all these tokens. Like for me, it was like, okay, I know what Bitcoin is, but to make any real gains, this thing's gonna have to go to like $1 million.
Right.
And then I know what Ethereum is, and I've had a little bit, so that's probably gonna be my play. I'm probably just gonna stay, with Ethereum. But I was also like really interested in legacy because my little brother was like trading options, and that just seemed
Mhm.
like faster money, right? Or like
Yeah.
something that could actually make a difference in your life, like yeah, I could maybe hold some of these tokens and they might go up, but it seemed like it, like the
Mhm.
faster gains. And really, you just get wrecked if you're not staring at your computer at all
Yep.
times, waiting to press that button. It's very difficult. So when he found, hey, you're going to love this. This is what you want, like where you can just hold something and just by holding it, you can collect more of them, right?
Yep.
So you're not playing the trading game, but it is increasing in its quantity. It's not you just holding a token and waiting to buy dips because I'm not going to be watching the market. I'm too busy. Like I don't always know when the dips come. Sometimes I'm late. Sometimes I just have money and I want to buy it right now. And I don't
Yep.
care what the price is, you know? And
Yeah.
so for Hex, that made sense. So once he explained it to me, it was a game changer for me and I was all in. You
Nice.
know?
That's awesome. That's a cool journey you had there. It's
Yep.
poker. I would not have expected that. Oh my goodness.
Yep, it
That's
was
a
poker.
trip. So do you still play at all? Do you play poker at all?
I haven't played,
Super
really in
fun.
years. When we go to Vegas, then, I enjoy it,
Okay.
we tried to do like a Hexican. Some of the Texas guys wanted to do like a Hex, Texas Hold'em night, and I
Nice.
was so down. I was like, "Let's do it," but it didn't work out, so hopefully maybe post-com we'll get something going.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool. Well, that I feel like you'd have a really good answer to this next question, considering the journey that you went on. And I'll just comment on one thing. You mentioned your brother was doing options trading,
Mhm,
and that's kind of how I ended up in Hex in a way. Just because at the time I was looking into that, I started taking a class, and I
mhm.
was like, oh, this seems like something I'd have to do. But same thing with your sentiment. Like I luckily like didn't end up finish wow words didn't end up finishing the class because Crypto Kool-Aid, my good friend, had told me about
Weird.
Hex right around that time. And I was like, well, this is so much better. You mean I
Yeah.
don't have to like look at charts or like draw these lines or do these? And not that I liked that I learned about that, at
Mhm,
least a little bit that I did. I gained that knowledge because that helped me learning legacy helps me understand Hex and how it
mhm.
works. So, anyways,
Exactly.
yeah, with all that said, what would your advice be, or what would you want to say to someone who's just now barely starting to look into crypto? Like maybe they stumbled across this stream and they're like, what is even crypto? Like yeah, just what would you say to someone who's just very barely like looking into this world?
Yeah, I try to get them to understand the idea of a digital asset. Um, Especially, I guess you kind of have to get to know the person, first.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like gamers are people that can kind of understand the idea of holding something digitally.
Hmm.
Within the game. They pay for these things that make um, you better within the game, and that's the value of it. For some people, it's hard to understand something that's not tangible, right? That they can
Right.
put their hands on.
Hmm.
So I think that that's probably the biggest bridge to get over is the fact that it's still currency, right? Just like your dollar that you use or whatever currency that you use, it is tradable and it has a value based on what someone will trade you for it, and it's just held digitally, which makes it safer because it
Hmm.
makes it free from middlemen, and free from interruption.
Yep.
So that's kind of, how I explain crypto in the basic form. And then when, I get into hex, because I'm not really a crypto shiller. Like, I
Right.
love what Richard Hart is creating with Pulse Chain, but I always have said that the greatest innovations come out of necessity.
Mhm.
He created Pulse Chain because Hex needed Pulse Chain, because the fees were going up so much that it was starting to affect his product, his perfect product. So he created that because it was needed. And while he was doing that, he said, you know what, Uniswap, you guys aren't exactly, catering to our community when we've done nothing but boost your economy. So then I'm going to create a Pulse X as well. Still another necessity. um so I don't really shield cryptos. I really just discuss hex, because I feel like it's the only thing. I mean, yeah, there are other things that are creating yield, but nothing else that I've heard of that has like 100% uptime, that has no admin keys,
Yep.
that has this consistency. Whether your investment is $50 or however much, yeah, you're going to have a higher T share, which means that those shares are going to come in faster for you. But even the smallest person, if you are willing to stake it out, that average length, 6.5 years, you're still at that same percentage of 38% on your investment. So I focus on helping people find financial freedom through Hex, because I feel like it works. But yeah, to get that basic understanding of crypto, you do have to, start with those simple foundations.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. That was very well said, for sure. I'm gonna say hi to the chat real quick. I don't often say what's up to the chat on the show because it's always about you. It's about my guest. But just real quick, Hex Noob, good to see you. Hello, Hex Siren. Good morning. I gotta have you on here sometimes, Hex Siren. We gotta hang out and chat. That'd be fun. John Jay in the UK. Like multitasking. I see. I try not to conflict with others, but that's just going to keep happening. And I love that. Honestly, it's good because more content just means more eyes on everything that we're doing. So, hello,
Yeah.
Crypto Heartbeats stream. I hope they're doing well. And then we got. I can't see. Why can't I scroll here? I kind of see someone's name. There we go. Mo Funk. Awesome. Good to see you. Thanks everyone for joining. And yeah, the description again that you gave was just, really well said. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that you do so much explaining. You're out there constantly working and telling people about Hex. So tell us a little bit for anyone who may not know. Tell us a little bit about what you do within our community, and I guess if you'd like to, just anything you want to share about that kind of work, if you can shill all the projects, do all the things.
Yeah, sure. It's interesting because I was just a Hexican. As far as my personal life, I was an administrator in the school system, but a private school system, to where I, for the most part, was head of school, um,
Okay.
responsible for hiring and staffing and development of the program. And when the big C came around, things changed a lot. Where I felt like I needed to secure my future, um, even though the government stepped in and there was PPP help to help small businesses. That was probably the first time in since I had been in that industry almost 15 years, that I felt extremely insecure in private school. Because thing about private school is that although people value the education, they also value the child care, right? These are working
Right.
families that need to bring their child somewhere. And when they were forced to keep their kids at home, it became a situation of, should I still be paying you, right? Even though you're providing education, because the public school will provide education without cost and without childcare, you know.
Yep.
So that was a big deal in my personal life, to where I did begin focusing on other things. And then when Hex did what it did, I made the decision to step away from the school, and to just focus on me. You know, I have my master's in nonprofit. I just wanted to develop more for myself and decide where I really wanted to be in life. And it was just crazy that all this, was happening at the same time. Um, all my youngest kids are kind of ending, their elementary journeys. So I didn't feel the need so much to be. I started doing, education because I wanted to be in my kids' everyday life. I kind of saw it as a way of homeschooling without homeschooling, keeping
Nice.
them in a social environment, but keeping me in their everyday life, right? Like all day, because I see a lot of times, kids spend more times at school than they do at home, and that
Right.
becomes their family. And I wanted myself to be a part of that family as well, you know. So when I decided to step away from that, and started like really engaging into the hex community, it was my husband's music, that gave me an outlet to express. I loved his music. He didn't have any desire to promote it or to even put it online. It was something that he does as a creative just for himself, and that's why you guys don't see him a lot, talking on social media or streaming a lot outside of, what we do. He's coming, out of it more, engaging more. But it was really me, that wanted to be more involved in the community. And then when Hex Lion and Abit Hex started promoting their tour, um, I was just persistent. I wanted to make a music video with them. I wanted Hexicans to be involved. They were coming through my city. I felt like it was kind of like the energy that you guys brought in Texas. They're coming through my hometown. I want to show love. I want to show everybody how excited we are about Hex, right? And this was the beginning of the tour, so I just wanted to do the same thing. And I started listening to your narrations, right? And it got to in the first one, it started talking about perseverance, right? And
Mhm.
just that's like that's that key function that makes the difference, and whether or not you're going to be successful, and whether or not the next step is going to happen. And I think I was just persistent. I'm sorry, not perseverance, persistence.
Mhm.
I think I was just persistent. Like um, they had something strong, but it needed to be stronger. They had good education, but it wasn't organized. Um, it just needed to be tailored, right? They had great support, but it just wasn't tailored. And so I just kind of, you know, said, "Let me do this." Do you want this to be successful? Do you want this tour to go from California all the way to where you say it's going to end, or is it going to fall off at some point? Just because at the end of the day, you guys are Hexicans, like traveling the world. No one is paying you. You're paying to do this. So at some point, you're going to get, tired of working so hard. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I was yeah, and they brought me on, and I organized the rest of the tour. The stops were already predetermined. The style, right? How many workshops we were going to do. Those venues were already primarily set. But the other activities, the parties, the events, the social gatherings, that all became a part of what I incorporated into the tour, in addition to the workshops. And then just getting the workshops a little more organized, to where, everybody felt like they have something to go away with, or it was
Mhm.
the sticker packages, or information, whatever it was like that. So that's kind of what I did, last year. I just became a full-time Mexican out of nowhere. And then I we grew a bond, me and the Crypto Sparbu guys.
Mhm.
You can't travel 6 months on the road with somebody and not create, a serious bond. And I think it was a couple things. All of them have very, very different personalities. Like it's four guys, and they are all very different. But they all inspire you in such different ways, right? Um, Dan keeps everything light and happy, and he just shows you that we are blessed and that there's nothing wrong. Like whatever stress you may have, at the end of the day, this is a great situation that you are in.
Mhm.
And so he just keeps everything comfortable. And Mars is like the biggest dreamer. Like he has such big heart and desire to change the world, right? Like, and to be so young. Like they're
Mhm.
all these guys are under 30, or like right around that age, between 35 and under, or whatever. um and then Patrick is so intellectual,
Mhm.
that you just feel that you have great direction. He's very financially savvy. You just know that business wise, you're set. And
Yeah.
then David is the motivation. He is the reason that you go so hard, because he wants to be the best Hexican in the world. Like he's not playing. He has like dedicated his life to being the best Mexican, and then that makes you want to be the best Mexican.
Mhm.
So it just became a great team. So when we started discussing, do we want to promote Pulse as hard as we promoted Hex, it was kind of a no-brainer. So we decided to go ahead and let me form the formation of the next tour, which means that we formed a new company, a LLC, in which they made me the CEO. But everybody is still very much involved. We all play a very significant role. But I am the American citizen, so I do, do all of the business work as far as that, to make sure that we can travel the states properly and host, different types of events. Our first event is going to be a golf tournament to kick off PostCon. We thought that that would be, a fun, awesome, social way to embrace all the different communities that will be attending, without it being in the conference space where we're,
Nice.
expected to pay attention. So the first Labor Day, that Monday before PostCon starts, we have a golf tournament planned at the Revere Golf Course in Henderson, Nevada. So it's just maybe like 15-20 minutes off the strip. Um, that will be Labor Day, and then we'll go into PostCon, and then from Las Vegas, our tour continues, and our first huge workshop will be in Chicago now.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Very
Originally,
cool.
it was going to be in California, but with the delays, we always knew that if if the launch didn't come, mid-May, like told, then we would roll to contingency plan. And so now that we're at the beginning of June and we haven't had any announcements, to where we have like knowledge that we'll have some kind of summer launch,
Mhm.
we decided to play it safe and to just go ahead and roll the real educational events till October is going to be the first one.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I think that's a smart pivot.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's just, I had this little analogy in my head that I thought of while you were talking. I was like, it was as if like, it was like KSB had scoops of ice cream, and then you came and made the sundae. Got the cherry and the whipped cream and the sprinkles, and you just made it work,
Yeah.
which is awesome. I mean, it's, and what a cool thing to come in as a woman, especially, and be the one to like kind of, all right, come on, let's, just get this all together and really move that progress forward.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's, part of what I try to encourage and uplift here is just, yeah, like, there's so many roles within this community that
Mhm.
can can be filled, by
Yeah.
anyone. And why not women? We need more of us to just come in here and step up. If you're watching this, come on down. Like,
Mhm.
Hexico needs you. So
Yeah. Yeah. And you can tell the difference in the community like today from like a year ago.
Mm,
And it's because of how many more ladies have stepped up into roles in the community. Because if you go back 2 years ago to a year ago, um, there were more streamers,
yeah.
and the content was changing, but it was still primarily male.
Yep.
So the transition wasn't as noticeable. But now, with the female energy, I love it. I love how we're all coming together. I think that women keep men light and happy
Mhm. Yeah.
and engaging.
Yep.
You know, so it's good. It's
Yeah.
it's it's good energy right now. There's
Absolutely.
always a little drama in the community, but we need views, so why not?
Yeah. Bring it. Bring the drama. And I like, I don't remember who said this, but someone someone said something to the effect of it might actually hello, Johnny Chaos. I see you in here. It actually might have been you that said this. It was something about, we can fight all day, but like at the end of the day, we come down and or no, I think it was Crypto Vince. It was like basically at the end of the day, we come and we sit down and we have a meal together, right?
Mhm,
Something like just because you're not my friend doesn't mean you're my enemy.
mhm.
So yeah, just to touch
Yeah,
on that little drama piece
yeah.
a bit. But yeah, Tin Top, Bob Wells, Rodney Barnes, got a few more people up in here. Good to see y'all. Thanks for joining.
Nice.
And I'd love for you to I rearranged the questions because this makes more sense. So after explaining, everything that you do for the community, where can we find you? What are your hand? And this will all be in the description as well. I think it's in there already. So
Yes. Most important is our work for KSB. So I would say KSB.TV. That has access to everything, every event we do, all of the team socials. There's some kind of link on the page that leads directly to each one of us. Just me personally, I probably spend the most time on Telegram and Twitter. Twitter, you can search BlaKc Hexican like you see it on the screen, or my @ is just being black. Always switch the K and the C. It's my initials, in case you're wondering. People always ask. I'm not from Kansas City, although I do love their apparel because it is my entire family's initials, my husband and my 3 kids.
oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah.
Nice.
And I learned an interesting little fact about me and you is that we share a middle name.
Oh,
Um,
do we?
yeah,
Oh,
your J
cool.
is my J.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, fun
Super
fact.
cool.
But yeah, so and then Telegram, let's talk about Hex is my @ and there are also links to our tour group and all that on our ksb.tv website.
Awesome. Yep. And that link is in the description, y'all. Check it out. Follow, like, subscribe, do all the things. In fact, in your you can get to the YouTube from the website, but make sure that you all subscribe to the KSB.TV YouTube because they're gonna have a lot more stuff coming up. I think I just
Yeah.
saw you talk about that yesterday, and we need to get them to at least 1,000 subs, y'all. Come on, that shouldn't be difficult.
Mhm.
Um, so there's that. Okay, oh yeah, and then my next question, I like this one. What is something that uplifts you? A saying, a mantra, a song? If you're going through it, you've got a bad day, or you just woke up grumpy, what's some way that you create positivity and get yourself uplifted?
Okay, I'm gonna read it because I don't want to mess it up. I um I come from a very religious background, although I wouldn't say that I don't know, the term religious is weird.
Mhm.
I am biblical. I believe in the Bible. I love scripture. I love prayer. Do I attend organized church regularly? No. you know.
In your heart.
But For me, some people call it gospel music, some people call it inspirational music. That's what gets me going in the
Nice.
morning. That is um, that is my go-to when I am feeling down, when I am feeling uninspired, when I'm feeling not creative. Any of that gospel music is definitely my go-to. There's one particular verse that I read a lot and I listen to the song a lot. It is from Isaiah 54:17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. So that is that's one for me, because a lot of times you come across negativity, you come across, you can call it hate, you can call it people just undermining or just not believing in you,
Mhm.
and you can't let any of that prevail over you. You have to stay steadfast in that um, you can do all things, so
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I like that one. And the last, is this the last question already? Is that already that time? Oh, no, I lied. There's two. Okay. There's still more question and then a bonus. So, what is something that you love to do outside of the crypto space? What's something that pumps you up and, brings you joy that's not, watching price go up?
Yeah, I can't even do it. I would just dox myself too much. I'm looking over here to the left though, because if I was willing to change my camera around, you would see a full wall of shoes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Of tennis shoes.
Nice.
It's a problem. I mean, like they're in individual box cases.
Is it
They
the clear ones? I have a good
Mhm.
friend who's a shoe guy. His
Oh,
whole
yeah.
closet up there
Yeah,
is
they're
all like
organized by style, and I reorganized them by hexiness. So
ah!
now, like, my Jordan 1s, the hexiest ones are at the top, and then they go down,
I love it.
to the least hexy. But then, like, I've been reorganizing because now I have, like, hexy, post, and post-ex, and
Nice.
then basics at the bottom. It's a problem. It's
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome though. I
That's my
love that.
thing though, shoe shopping.
I'm just curious because I'm definitely not a I'm not a shopping person in general, but do you buy online mostly or do you go
So I'm also like to love shoes as much as I do. I'm kind of frugal. Not really frugal. I'm just like really anti this resale industry of shoes, right? Like you have all these big conglomerates that buy as soon as they drop all of them, right, from the retail stores. So
right?
that regular people like moms that just come shopping every once in a while, they can't get the new releases because this one person has bought 20 pair, and as soon as they buy them, they take them to their resale shop and the
Oh,
price is immediately double,
that sucks.
right?
Yeah.
So like there are lotteries and stuff you can win that guarantee you a pair at retail price. Sometimes, certain stores are stocked better than others. So I really only buy them straight out the store. I guess that's like my mom day. It's like I'm gonna go
Nice.
shopping and actually go to stores and see if they have
Yeah.
it. If they have it, then great. If they don't, it's no big deal. But I'm not spending $400 or $500, on that one pair just because you guys decided to buy them all up and jack up the price. It's not
Yeah. That's
right. It's just not right. But it's a thing. The shoe industry, people do. We do. I love my shoes. So anything that has value the price will rise,
right.
and people will expect more out of the trade.
I would love a picture sometime of your Hexiest shoe collection. That's like I'm just like envisioning like all these colors, like
So here's the crazy thing is that we're going on the next tour. And
Mhm.
this one is very different because it's my family that will be on the road the majority of the time. And the speakers, because they change so often, will typically just come in for segments of the tour.
Mhm.
Abit may travel the whole tour, not sure yet. But my family will have an RV. We've decided to go with a truck and a trailer RV,
Okay.
to have the
Yeah.
two vehicles. Um, But my whole thing since we've been RV shopping is how can I bring my shoes? Like,
Yes.
what kind of space does this thing have to where my shoes can come? Like, that's like my only condition. I can live without everything else.
Oh, I love
These
it.
shoes are coming.
Yeah, that should be easy in one of those, like, fifth wheel trailer things. A lot of them have the side
Mhm.
storage underneath.
Yeah.
You can just all the shoes, right? They just
Mhm.
display them. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. It's happening.
Nice. That's cool. So you guys are you still looking for the trailer?
Uh-huh, yeah, we've
Okay.
still been shopping. We're, looking to acquire it by July.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that life. I mean, like I do van life, so or I'm
yeah.
about to really get into it and really do van life. So yeah, at some point I'm definitely hoping to scoot along in my van with y'all. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's gonna be
We'll
awesome.
see. Yeah. So the last question's a bonus question, and I actually just I just messaged Richard to tell him this. I said, "Hey, if you ever need a pick me up, any of my Women Crush Wednesday streams, check out the last like 5 minutes because every time I ask, what is your favorite thing about Richard Hart or Sci-Vibe? But just it's just a little because he gets so much hate. So I'm just like, you know
Yeah.
what? We're just gonna bring the love.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love Richard Hart. I mean, he does. He gets a lot of slack. I got a lot of messages from the lady stream, like, "How did
Yeah.
you feel?" Because he can be a lot. But I feel like that's why we have Hex, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's a lot and like he demands the most out of things, and so he's full. He's him all the time. And even if that pushes, the limit on the provocative part,
Right.
that's just one segment of who makes him him. I think that that last photo shoot that I saw him do for
Yeah.
High Stakes with the ladies, I mean, to me that shows the real Richard Hart, and I love that Patrick and Grant from High Stakes want that so much out of him.
Yep.
To just be fully you, whether that's goofy, nerdy, joyful, whatever that is, just be it. And if it's hypersexualized, then that's a part of you too, you
Right.
know. But at the end of the day, you're a great dude who wants great for our community. You are a Hexican. You're probably the best Hexican alive. um, so keep doing you, Richard. And I'm just happy to be a part of the community.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy and everything that you do for this community. It is really you are a force to be reckoned with. I finished drinking my tea this morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am just so grateful. And I do put this call out every time if I can. If you feel that you know any other women out there who could use a little boost in their, viewership or in
Yeah.
whatever it is that they're doing, please send them my way and let me know because I love
Have
doing
you
this.
had Jury on yet?
No.
Oh, she's a good one. Oh, I think you guys will bond great. She loves so many things. Just life. Oh yeah, that's your
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah, I saw her, well, I mean, I've met her through the tour, but then I saw her
Right.
background with the chakras, and I was like, "Oh, I
Mhm.
did well, yes." Same
Yeah.
page. Yeah, I love that
Yeah,
kind
and
of
now she is
energy.
taking the initiative, like, to say, "Hey, I know there are a lot of content creators. I know that I'm not the most knowledgeable on Hex, but I also know that there are not a lot of Albanian speaking
Right.
content creators. And I probably am pretty knowledgeable, when you say how many content creators." And she has like got in that lane and like gone with it. And I just love that for her because she's a very attractive lady. She can
Mhm.
do English streams, she can do whatever she wants to do, but she cares that much about her community and the fact that nobody is serving them that
Yep.
she's willing to go ahead and do that. So yeah, that's my Woman Crush Wednesday shout out.
Awesome.
Jory, Jory Hex, go like and subscribe her channel, even if you can't, understand Albanian, just to show that Hex
Yeah.
some love.
Pump that algorithm for sure.
Yep.
I love that she's doing that. Yeah.
Yep.
Super cool.
Excellent.
So yeah, and there's more room for more women, more languages, all those things. I'm so grateful again for everyone that tuned in, everyone on the replay. Yeah, thanks, and hope your rest of your Wednesday and week is lovely. Take care, everyone. Bye.